Hello, thank you for coming to my video. If you would like to help my channel grow, please like and subscribe, and please click on this little bell icon so you never miss a future video. Hey guys, welcome to the next video in my Let's Play the Halo series. Before I get started on the game, just a quick little side note. As I'm recording this about 5 minutes ago, I just now read the news. It just now came out that unfortunately Stanley passed away at the age of 95 years old. If you've been living under a rock, Stanley is a co-creator of pretty much everything or almost everything in Marvel Comics, which had a huge impact in the entire comic book industry, not just Marvel Comics, which eventually translated over to cartoons, video games, and now became this mega movie empire, which is now owned by Disney. So, it's unfortunately a sad day because of that, but the guy had this amazing life, and it's good to see that he was able to live to see his creations just completely turn the movie industry upside down and become this mega empire. So, Stanley, rest in peace. I hope you're in a better place, man. And thank you very much for all your creations, especially for that 90s X-Men cartoon, because you know that was the best. A lot of amazing memories back in junior high school when I really got into comics around that time. So now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna play some Destiny. So, of course, Destiny is the first game made by Bungie after Halo became the mega franchise that it is. So we are currently playing on the Xbox One, and I was playing the 360 version yesterday, which I was able to get some footage on it. So Destiny is a very interesting game, and definitely a lot to talk about with this game. So I'm going to create a new character here. We're going to kind of start over. Let's kind of delete this old character that's just kind of sitting there. And then we'll kind of show the game a little bit, just some new, just kind of like, you know, starting over here. And I'm just going to create a character from scratch. I want to play Hunter, just because I'm used to playing a Hunter. It's what I've normally played. Not really much difference in the classic character. It's just a couple of the special abilities, which I'll kind of touch up on. And of course, both games here, we're just kind of starting from scratch, and we're gonna play a little bit of the story campaign. Then I'll hop on my main character and kind of show just some of the teaming up matchmaking. You know, I forget what it's called, but it's basically like the equivalent of running an instance, you know, if you ever played World of Warcraft. And then we'll do a little bit of the multiplayer, the PvP, just like the standard deathmatch or team battles, things like that, just to kind of show what this is about. So, nice cool little opening intro here. You know, game, you know, starts off with a little flashback, kind of present day. Shows some astronauts on Mars, yet they're holding some ARs, and all of a sudden, they look up, and there's going to be this, let's see, where is it at? We'll give it a second here. I don't want to spoil it. Totally going to have an AR on Mars. There we go. Oh, no, still climbing. Still climbing. Oh, watch out. Watch out. Oh, okay, you lived. Really cool music. There we are, the Traveler. This moonish, round-looking thing. Which, of course, was originally teased in Halo 3 ODST. Which, you know, go back and watch my Halo 3 video. Or my Halo ODST video, I mean. Teaser's no longer in the Master Chief Collection version, but it's still in the 360 version, even when you play it backwards compatible on the Xbox One. Kind of a little, prologue here. You know, kind of tells the backstory a little bit. Game is has a very post-apocalyptic setting, so if you're into the post-apocalyptic stuff, you know, you're gonna like it right off the bat. In a nutshell, the game is basically World of Halo. You know, instead of World of Warcraft, it's World of Halo. It's a spiritual successor to Halo. You know, kind of like Crysis is a successor to Far Cry, or spiritual successor to Far Cry. Doki Doki Panic was originally a spiritual successor to Super Mario Brothers, which eventually became Mario 2. You know, that's a whole other story. But my first time playing this game was when the beta came out, you know, months before it came to market. I did not have a PlayStation 4 because the beta originally hit the PlayStation 4, and then toward the end of the run of the beta, it hit the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And a good friend of mine, you know, him and I both downloaded the game, who were, you know, both big Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach players. Downloaded the game, played a little bit, and the beta showed off just enough of the game that needed to be shown off. Relied on online servers and content and that kind of thing, because it's all connected to the server. Because when you're playing the game, when you're in like the main areas or in the cities or whatnot, you're where everyone else is. I mean, if someone else is kind of in that area playing whatever story mission or exploring whatnot, you can just randomly bump into them, walk by, wave, send them a message, group up, walk by each other, not even have any contact, whatever. I mean, it's the game is basically an MMO, you know, a massively multiplayer online game, and that's pretty cool. So the beta, you know, showed like just a couple of the chapters, nothing too far off, just showed off some basic gameplay, and then eventually had some of the PvP, which is, you know, just like the team deathmatch and that kind of stuff, player versus player stuff. So. And graphics and art style look pretty good. Unfortunately, on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, the game was locked at 30 frames per second. It did not play at 60 frames per second, which was unfortunate at the time because, you know, Call of Duty kind of set the standard of, you know, FPS games being 60 FPS. Master Chief Collection, which was coming out around the same time, because the story of me getting in and playing this game, you know, kind of parallels Master Chief Collection because they're coming out around the same time. This came out like 2 months beforehand. But that was coming out, and that was a remake of the old Halos at 60 frames per second. So that was becoming the standard for shooters. And this game was stuck at 60, which Bungie's reasoning for that was if they play a last gen, or at the time a current gen and or you play the game on a current gen console versus a next gen console, now last gen, current gen, you know, meaning PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, or PlayStation 4, Xbox One, you were still getting the same experience, which, you know, I can respect that, and at least it allowed them to have, you know, more open worlds and a little more detail and things like that. So, I mean, I would have preferred 60 frames per second, but the game is still fun. I mean, it's still a fun game to play. So right away, I mean, if you kind of look around, you know, art style looks really cool. The skies look really cool. I mean, we go on other planets and the moon and stuff like that. It looks great. Background looks awesome. Color looks great. The lighting looks amazing. Even when you play this on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, like the reflections right there. I mean, it's really impressive because it's a multi-platform engine that runs on last and current gen hardware, but the detail is still there. if you remember my previous video on Halo 3 where I kind of criticized Bungie for making the game run at kind of a sub 720p resolution, like not HD but almost HD, it was like 660p or something like that. It does the same thing on the 360. I don't know if it does on PS3. It's probably does. Might even be worse, you know, because 360 is usually a little bit better video processing. But I'll give them a pass on that just because the lighting and the detail is so good. I mean, the only major difference, and there's probably like really good comparisons, you know, between both versions, but when you're just kind of playing casually, the most noticeable difference is obviously just the resolution. But you know, frame rates don't drop too much. There's a part coming up later. I forgot when on the 360 version where I was getting some dips in the frame rate, but overall it's, you know, pretty good. But I mean, it's just the lighting, the reflection, the lens flares, the shadows. We'll show off. Yeah, like right here. I mean, the shadows are really cool. Just everything was really cool. So you know, after playing the beta, you know, I think I had it pre-ordered if I remember, but I ended up buying the digital version because they were doing a thing at launch where if you buy the digital version within a certain amount of time in launch, like if you buy the Xbox One version, it would also include an Xbox 360 version. So when you pencil it out, you're basically getting an Xbox One version and an Xbox 360 version for $60. So you're basically getting 2 copies of the game, you know, each copy being $30 each. Which my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she's not really into first-person shooters, but she's into RPGs and stuff like that, and she was interested in playing the game. So she talked me into, instead of buying the physical version, buying the digital version, which, you know, it's online-based. So I was like, okay, yeah, might as well. It's not going to be that big of a loss. You know, it's not like, you know, game preservation, that kind of thing. Which, having an Xbox One, or I ended up buying an Xbox One earlier than I anticipated, which I'm going to get into my whole Xbox One love-hate thing with the next video with Master Chief Collection. But I ended up buying it sooner than I planned on it, so we could play this on the Xbox One and also have it on the 360, so both of us could play at the same time. Now, we couldn't play each other, obviously, because the games were not cross-compatible, but the accounts themselves were cross-compatible. Like, I could start a game on a 360, progress through my character, save, log off, and then log back on the other system, and pick up where I left off. So I could just kind of swap back and forth on the 360 or Xbox One whenever I wanted, which was great. I mean, that was an awesome feature. I mean, that was one of the primary reasons I ended up buying the game digitally and sticking with the game and buying some of the DLC. I didn't buy I bought like the first couple DLC packs. I didn't stick with the game, but you know, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that was one of the primary reasons why I supported the game as long as I did. And I bought everything up until Taken King. I don't think I bought Taken King, but I bought everything else before that. And let's see, where was I at? Wow, my story. So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a fun game to play. It was fantastic, and you know, 2 copies of the game. So, yeah, the only thing you couldn't do was, like, you know, you couldn't log into the same account on both systems because it would, you know, if you log on in 360 and then log on one, it'll kick you out of the 360 version or whatnot, you know, because you can't access the same character at once. But we ended up buying a spare 360 so we could play together and do a couple of the raids and whatnot together. Which I still have that extra 360 laying around. Actually, no, that one I ended up selling. Because a friend of mine gave me his, the Red Ring, and I was able to fix it. And I just realized I gotta change the default controls.
Just a little bit further.
Let's see. Controller button layout. Here we are. So shoot, melee. I'm going to set it to cold shoulder. And like my last video where I had the Halo 4 video, where I mentioned that they added the control scheme that was similar to Call of Duty, this game has a similar option, which is great because at the time I was able to swap back and forth between Halo 4, then Halo Master Chief Collection, Destiny, Call of Duty, and all the control settings were identical or very close to identical across all games. So I was able to balance back and forth between all the games and not get mixed up with the controls. This is a really cool effect. Really awesome reflections here. Really cool lighting. I mean, this is when it really shows off the lighting here. I mean, that's just impressive. You'll see, yeah, you'll see that on the 360 version right here. Let's try and match that. I mean, both versions just look amazing. It's funny because at the time when Xbox One games were coming out, Xbox One versions of games were not running as good as their PS4 counterparts because the hardware is a little more powerful. So there was concern that the Xbox One version of Destiny wasn't going to run at a full 1080p, and Microsoft actually had to patch the system to give the developers more CPU horsepower so they can pull that off. I don't know if you remember how I had like the snap and app feature where you can watch YouTube in like a picture-in-picture mode kind of thing, but you know that doesn't exist anymore. So they kind of disabled a lot of that. But it makes games will run a little bit better, which is fine. I think it's a good trade-off. Of course, we got the Fallen here. The game kind of starts off presenting these guys as the main antagonists, but there's a lot more stuff. Kind of a post-apocalyptic. Oh, my phone's going nuts. Probably replying to all my Stan Lee stuff I posted. You know, like a post-apocalyptic setting here. You know, you see like civilization kind of like fallen and things like that, and space shuttles in the background, all sorts of really neat stuff. Yeah, like look at the sky and everything. I mean, just the art and everything, just amazing. But you know, probably talk about the gameplay now. Gameplay feels a lot like Halo. I mean, I criticized Halo 4 for having too much of a Call of Duty feel to it. This game does the same thing, but it does feel a little more natural. I mean, you still got sprinting, but it's not a sequel to Halo. It's a spiritual successor, so it's kind of a fresh start in a way. You don't really need to worry about unbalancing a previous game or unbalancing the franchise or any weird crap like that. So you can still shoot from the hip. You know, like that. I wish the hip accuracy was a little more accurate to kind of reflect Halo, but it still works. It's got a leveling mechanic. Like we just leveled up from level 1 to level 2. Kind of choose our subclass here. I'm going to stick with Gunslinger just to show that off. But as you upgrade, you can, or as you level up, you can upgrade your characters. You got like different grenades here. Instead of a grenade count, your grenade's on a cooldown. So, and let's go back to that real quick. You can customize like what kind of jumping you do, like a double jump and eventually a triple jump, and another subclass that's like a teleport jump. Your special move, which is tied to your class, when your special meter fills up, you know, you get a as a hunter gunslinger, you get like a golden gun. It's like a one-shot kill kind of thing. You can upgrade your melee attack to a throwing knife or like a more powerful melee attack or things like that. Just overall little upgrades here. So just some RPG elements like that. Let's go back to this menu real quick. You know, you got your armor and your weapons, you know, standard RPG stuff. Like the number, like your attack number is basically like the base attack for your weapon when you're playing story mode, PvE stuff, raids, instances, things like that. Then you got all the stats of the weapon, you know, like your rate of fire, how fast the bolts come out, your impact, how much extra damage is done. The range of the weapon, which is basically like how much damage it does depending on the distance, stability, how accurate the gun is when you're shooting, and like the recoil, things like that, and how fast it reloads, how much ammo it holds. Whenever you're playing PvP, or they call it the Crucible in this, but basically like Slayer, Team Slayer, Free for All, things like that, the attack number and your defense number is pretty much ignored. So it basically goes by any stat increases that armor adds, and just your basic stats here, like rate of fire, impact, range, stability, just that there. So if you're a level 2 character, a level 5 character, and you're fighting off against level 20 guys in PvP or in the Crucible mode, that's how it balances the game. But the weapons that you find and I know a lot of this is kind of standard for MMOs and stuff, but for those who've never played Destiny but have played a lot of FPS games like Halo and whatnot, that's kind of like what I'm going for in this little section here. But the weapons you find in the story or in the campaign or in the missions, you take with you to the PvP modes. Your Slayer and your Free for All and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. I mean, the weapons are pretty well balanced. It's not too over well balanced. Like a level 20 weapon isn't going to be way more powerful than this level 1 or level 2 weapon I'm using right now. I mean, it's going to be more powerful, but it's not going to be like a game-breaking thing. So, it's rewarding skill and time that you're putting into playing the game. So after the first couple of missions, you'll have access to... actually, I think it's after the first mission. You'll have access to playing multiplayer right away if you want to. And you see this guy here has a shield. And typically, any characters or enemies that have shields on them, the shield will be one of 3 colors. Like that shield's kind of like a silver color. There'll be that, there'll be an orange color, and there'll be a purple color. And that's reminiscent on the type of energy the shield's made up of. Like arc energy, solar energy, or void energy. And if you're using a weapon, which you'll get later on, that specializes in that kind of energy, which I'll show off later, you'll do more damage to the shields. So there's also some strategy in terms of what kind of weapons you carry in terms of damage type. So, got a little cutscene here. Discovered my ship. Of course, we have our little floating guy here. Those are called a ghost, or called ghosts. Excuse me. Originally was voice acted by Peter Dinklage, and they had another voice actor voice over his lines because they thought he didn't have enough emotion the way he was talking, which I thought made him sound a little more robotic, but it was what it was. He's basically your Cortana in the game. Music in the game is fantastic. I mean, Bungie veteran, Marty O'Donnell, worked on all the Halos and stuff, did a lot of the music for this, and also a couple other guys, including Paul McCartney. The same Paul McCartney that was in the Beatles. Don't know if he was a gamer or if he just was available or what, but yeah. Probably not a gamer, but yeah, I mean, eventually, Marty O'Donnell parted ways with Bungie and actually sued them for back pay and won a few $1 million, I think, if I remember correctly. Which is kind of weird because he was one of the founding members of Bungie. So, could have been an Activision thing, because Bungie got acquired by Activision or made a deal with Activision at this time. So, of course, completed the mission. Give us some random rewards. Oh, we got a ship. Not really random, but when you do like some random missions, you'll sometimes get some random rewards and things like that. So, gameplay in this is really good. Game had a lot of criticisms when it was coming out, and I'm going to get into that, but I'll start with a lot of the good. The gameplay is really, really good. I mean, Bungie definitely nailed the gameplay and the fun factor in that. So whether you're playing just missions, player versus player, raids, whatnot, it's a lot of fun just to simply play. When you're in a boss battle, it sends waves of enemies out, and if you're fighting a lot of stuff that's higher, a little bit higher level above you, but you know you got the skill to match it up, it can get pretty intense and a lot of fun. It definitely rewards teamwork and things like that. I mean, it can get wild and intense. So yeah, gameplay is just really awesome and really good.
Welcome to the last safe city on Earth.
Bungie, of course, really set and raised the bar for a story in a video game with the past Halos. I mean, especially the way they ended Halo Reach. I mean, the story was top notch. So expectations for a good story in this game was of course really high. And unfortunately, that is the main criticism in this game, is the story in this game just sucks. I mean, when you look back on all the Halos and stuff, you can, even if you've only played the campaign 1 or 2 times, you can remember the overall story. Like Halo 1 had to run away from the Covenant, keep Cortana alive. You discover the Flood, had to prevent them from taking over. Halo 2, defending Earth, discovering new Halo, ends in a cliffhanger, you know, and so on and so on. You can remember the overall story. I mean, if you had to write like a pop quiz thesis on the story of each game, you can remember enough to write something. Where this game, it's like, okay, post-apocalyptic, traveler, fallen, eventually discover other aliens called the Hive, and these robots called the Vex, and some other brute-looking guys, I forget the name. Eventually, you fight a giant robot boss that's considered a god, and that's it. I don't really know the overall story. So, I mean, it's not really much of a story to it. Which they expand it in DLC, but you know, you're paying $60 full price for a game, and you're expecting a good story in a game. You're not going to get it in this. Luckily, I paid $30 for my copy. You know, $60 for 2 copies. So I feel like I got my money's worth in the game. But if I would have paid $60 for a physical game, I would have felt a little ripped off. But I mean, I definitely got my fun out of the game, so I can't complain in terms of that. I mean, both my wife and I, you know, definitely enjoyed the game when we did. Didn't really have too many friends play the game, so I played a couple matches with friends, but that's about it. But like, if my Halo friends would have picked this up and we all would have played together, we probably would have enjoyed the game a little bit more. But the game, it's a hybrid. Like I already talked about earlier, it's a hybrid MMO and a hybrid first-person shooter. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of MMO stuff in it, like a World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Old Republic or Rift or whatever the standard MMO is now. It doesn't have a lot of the features to make it compete with other MMOs. And as a first-person shooter, it doesn't have a lot of those features that you would normally find in a console first-person shooter to make it compete with other first-person shooters. So it's like half of a shooter, half of an MMO. You put them together, but it doesn't quite make it feel like a full game. So, but if you like the gameplay, it's still fun. So we got different weapons here. We got our hand cannons, which is basically our pistols, our scout rifles, which is like our single shot guns, like our DMR in Halo. Pulse rifles, like our battle rifle, you know, like 3-shot burst. And then your auto rifle, which is basically, you know, your full-on machine guns. So great variety of weapons in the game. There are a lot of really good weapons. I mean, it's different. Like I was saying earlier, like we pull up like this auto rifle, for example. There's different variations of different auto rifles, like lower rate of fire but higher impact or higher magazine size. Lots of different weapons in this game. And of course, as we progress, you get like the rare stuff and the legendary stuff. You know, a lot of weapons will have special abilities tied to them, and different things like that. So there's a lot of customization in that aspect. So they nailed that. Of course, this is like your main city. It's not too big. It's simplified, which despite being an MMO that doesn't have a lot of MMO features, at least it had a very simple feel to it. Which it's not a PC game. It's a console game, so it's gotta feel simple to a casual audience, especially people going from Halo to Destiny. So it's good in that aspect, but it should have been a little bit better. Should have had a little more of like a social aspect to it. Like in World of Warcraft, for example, if you're just exploring the world, you bump into someone, you can do like a random duel. You should be able to like do like a random duel, or just little things like that. There's probably other people who are really into MMOs that can really do a much better comparison than I can. But as far as not being up to par as terms of a first-person shooter, we already talked about the story. But there's also the Crucible, which is the PvP, the Team Slayer, and stuff like that, which we'll get into. But it's also lacking in terms of that because it just doesn't have a lot of options compared to like your Halo games. It doesn't have like a big team battle, or it doesn't have like something with a lot of vehicles like tanks, warthogs, or like the Destiny equivalent of that. Which I don't know if that would work in Destiny anyway, because I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it doesn't have anything to kind of take the place of that. So as I was like competing, talking to these guys, completing my quests here, I got some experience, and I leveled up to level 3. You see that green bar right next to the lower region of my character there, so that's like your experience bar. Shows like a level 3 there, and like this right here, basically your green bar. So now we level 3, unlock a little bit, unlock some more stuff for my character. I haven't played this game. I haven't played this game too much in a while. I haven't really played this regularly in a couple years. So if I sound ignorant in a lot of the stuff, that's my reason I'm sticking to it. So now we can upgrade the double jump. So instead of a single jump, it's a double jump, and go to our progress screen. And they've streamlined this screen a little bit better. It used to be a lot harder to read. So there'll be I see the bounty sections right here. It used to be right here over on the side, which on the 360 version it still is. So you can collect bounties, which is basically just to help gain more experience to level up your character. When you gain experience, it also levels up your weapons. Like if you have weapons with special abilities down here, like these ones don't, but if they do, they'll help level up your weapons as well. So now that we accepted the next quest, that's another thing. They don't really make the quests and the tracking stuff as easy to understand and streamlined as they should. At least I don't think they do. Maybe they do if you're used to the game. But if someone's brand new picking up and play the game, they're going to feel a little bit confused. Oh, did I miss something? There's something still at the tower. Still showed that purple icon at the tower that I was just at. I don't want to get too far ahead in the 360 video. Come on, I was just at the tower. Load to the tower. This is kind of neat. Like the loading screen is basically your ship in orbit. And then it'll just basically fly to the destination. But another issue that I have with the game when the DLC started coming out, and I talked about how when the game launched, your characters were cross-compatible on the consoles. Not in terms of going from Xbox to PlayStation, but 360 to Xbox One or PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. But I think it was after Taken King, Bungie severed that link. So I thought it said I had another thing to turn in. That's okay. We'll go back to orbit. Thought I missed something, but that's okay. So, what I was looking at, I'll show you guys what I was looking at real quick. So, set destination, like this little icon right here. That's okay, we'll head back there. So, here we are, level 2 story. And if I party up with people, we could party up and kind of show like their ship right here or right there. Then we'd all launch together and go to that point in the story. But yeah, the account linking between 360 and Xbox One is they severed that link. So when I'm playing and progressing this character on the 360, it no longer shows up on the Xbox One. And they did that right before the last expansion came out for Destiny, which, you know, everyone knew they were making Destiny 2, and I believe they announced it. And their reasoning behind that was that they wanted to develop future content and not rely or not be bottlenecked by the hardware of the previous generation. Which I had a huge problem with this because, one, the reason my wife and I had played the game as long as we did and supported some of the DLC that we did, and the reason we came back to the game after, you know, eventually we move on to another game and then we come back to this. The reason we did that when we did was because, you know, we could both play on whatever console we wanted. Like if she was playing on Xbox One, I could play on the 360 or vice versa. In some cases, I would actually play on the 360 by choice because when the Xbox One came out, it didn't have a lot of features. Like it didn't have custom soundtracks when you're playing a game, things like that. And so when I was just playing the game randomly, I'd pop up the guide menu and play whatever MP3s off a USB stick or whatnot. But and that was one of the reasons I bought the digital game, you know, because it included 2 different versions, and I could play in any console and progress whatever I want. It's like having 2 PCs in the house. You log into your World of Warcraft account. You know, you can progress, pick up where you left off wherever. And it gave me one more reason to not play the game, which is a feature that I used all the time. And maybe not a lot of people use that feature, but I certainly did. And the reason behind that, you know, like I mentioned earlier, they wanted their future DLC to be more focused on the now current gen hardware. But with Destiny 2 coming out, they only released like one more expansion anyway. So it was kind of a slap in the face. Like, well, if the DLC is going to be that dependent on the hardware, just save that content for Destiny 2 or something. Like whenever I go back and forth and play the game, it divided the community even more. Like when you look at my video here on the 360 version, you won't see as many people playing that version of the game. I mean, you'll still see some. I mean, when the game came out, more people were playing it on 360 and PlayStation 3 because, you know, newer hardware was newer and not a lot of people had it. Where now, a lot more people are playing on current gen hardware, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. But I didn't see the need for them to divide the server. And maybe it's like a server maintenance thing or something like that, but I thought it was a half-assed excuse. I would have been happier if they just not released the DLC. So, I mean, I never really got back into the game after that. I mean, that was kind of like the final straw for not playing the game anymore. And definitely didn't buy any future DLC, which, you know, I might have bought Taken King, you know, when it came on sale, then went from there. But yeah, that solidified it for me. So now I just play the game, like log in, just play it casually, which limits your player versus player game. You know, you only got like just a couple of the playlists you have access to, and you'll barely find people playing that on the 360 version. I mean, I'll show later. I mean, I played like 2 or 3 matches like in an hour. It took forever to find a game because not a lot of people are playing, and that was at like in the middle of a Sunday afternoon. So maybe the PlayStation 3 has better luck still, but yeah, it is what it is. But you know, in the game's defense, if you're still playing the PS3 version, you know, you could buy the PlayStation 4, Xbox One version. You can buy the disc for like $3 now, just because it's so DLC dependent. So you can get the core game for like, you know, $3. So it's not that big of a deal, but unfortunately your character stuff doesn't transfer over, or it's going to I don't know if it just doesn't transfer over or if it picks up where the cutoff left off. Like whatever your character was during that cutoff, that's what it's going to be at that time. So that's probably what it is. I see something on the radar. So you look on the radar in the top corner here, you see it red. Kind of shows like the direction of where the guys are at. He must be like underground beneath me or something. I was just wanting to kill him. Whatever enemy was. So it shows a little white and gray arrow. Kind of guide you where you're at. Game does a good job of helping hold your hand in terms of where to go. So you don't feel lost too much. And that's good. There's that sense of exploration, but you know, you're not really getting lost or feeling hopeless or anything like that. Of course, there's another guy over there, level 40 guy. He's just doing something. Who knows what he's doing, but yeah. That's kind of the cool thing about playing an MMO. Oh, sky's turning black. So this is kind of cool. We got an event happening. Okay, how do you bring up the map? So there's a way to bring up the map, if I remember correctly. I don't forget how to do it. Yeah, you get random events that happen in the open world. And you can get like some loot and gear. So let's take part in this if we can. Hey dude, what's up? How you doing? Can't really do damage to anyone. Let's see, what level are these guys? Yeah, they're low-level guys. They're not too bad. Hopefully some more people will come along. I don't really have a lot of gear to fight this stuff off. Or not solo it. So yeah, if other people were around, we could all like join in and do this together if we want to. Just like random people join together. So that's pretty cool. Destiny, bringing people together. If no one shows up, I may abort this and just stick to the mission. In fact, yeah, I think I'm going to do that just for the sake of this video. I mean, there's a new character I created just for the sake of making this video anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. So I was supposed to talk about like the weapons here. You got your primary weapon, which I kind of touched up on earlier, your auto rifles, your pulse rifles, your pistols and things like that. Then you have your special weapons, which is basically like your secondary. It can be like a sniper rifle, a shotgun, a sidearm pistol, a fusion gun, which is basically like a charge gun. And then you have your heavy weapons, which would be like your heavy machine gun or a rocket launcher, which, you know, you hit Y to change weapons, but you hold it down. If I get one, I'll show you. If not, I'll have to wait till I show you in the PvP mode.
I hope you're ready for this.
So here we're kind of entering the instance in a way. So it's like if you die here, you kind of have to start it over, where it's not like a respawn kind of thing. And random people who are playing, like random people that are kind of in the map here, this is where random people stop showing up. If people are in here with you, it's because they came in with you, like you were partied up together. So that's kind of how it splits off the people. So it works. Here's this dude. So he's got a yellow energy bar, which means he's a little bit stronger. Trying to aim for the head. Because every enemy you fight has a weak point somewhere, whether it's their head, or if you're fighting the Vex robots, they have like a little white point in their stomach, or like they're like those big eyeball things. You know, you shoot them right in the center. Everyone has a weak point. Like you see me shooting, you'll see the damage being done, but you see it yellow, which means I'm hitting them in their weak spot. Take out some of these guys here. Yeah, your the Fallen are basically your Covenant in the game. Then you'll come across enemies called the Hive. That's basically like the Flood in the game. And oh, almost got him. Almost got him. There we go. You see this little thing right here? Encrypted engram. It's basically an item, and you have to take it to the city to decode it, and you get a weapon or armor of that class. You'll see like these little white square boxes drop down, and that's basically your primary ammo. You'll see the green ones drop, and that'll be your secondary ammo or your special ammo. And then if you see any purple ones drop, that'll be your heavy ammo. So it's not ammo specific to the weapon, it's basically ammo specific to the type. Getting cool rewards. Ooh, got another sniper rifle. Got another helmet. Awesome. Yeah, game definitely should have had much better story. I mean, it's got some neat cutscenes and whatnot, but Rise of Iron, that must be the last expansion to come out on this version that did not come out on the 360. Of course, here's the Crucible. This is the PvP mode. Only got access to 2 of the modes. They added a private match. That's kind of cool. They didn't have this added until way later, where people can just play a private match together that match up or party up. But this is basically the only mode I have access to, because I don't own any of the DLC. So if you don't own any of the DLC, you're going to be kind of restricted. But then again, the core game is only like a few bucks. And you can buy like a bundled version brand new on Amazon and things like that. I forget how much it is. Like 30 bucks, I think it is. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see. Type in Destiny Rise of Iron. Destiny the Collection, Xbox One Standard Edition, $25.49. So yeah, I mean that's not too bad of a price. But then again, you know, Destiny 2 is the main game that's out now, so you're not going to find too many people to match up and play against. And I think the RPG and customization mechanics of Destiny 1 are far better than Destiny 2. And I'm going to make a Destiny 2 video. I didn't play a lot of it, so it's probably going to be a short video. But I am definitely going to touch up on it. It's probably going to be the last video I make in the Let's Play Halo series. Of course, this character here, Kate 6, played by Nathan Fillion from Firefly.
Good day to you. Well done, Guardian.
So turn in a quest. That's it. Nothing fancy. Talk to Kate 6.
You ready to get out there?
So I'm still level 3, so I can't wear any of the level 4 stuff yet.
Wish I could go with you. But who'll watch this place, right?
And hold X, I can dismantle anything old that I don't need. And that'll give me currency and a lot of time weapon parts for upgrading my stuff. And here you have your light score. So this would be like an extended level. Like you go to level 20 and then you go to like your light level would be like level 25, 26. I forgot what the maximum was at the time. And actually, they actually changed the system much differently. I forgot exactly how it worked now. There we go. Equip a more powerful sniper rifle. But like your max level was level 20, and before any expansions, to go past level 20, you basically your armor would have an extra stat called light, and that would boost your level past level 20. So it wasn't your leveling up was no longer experience based, it was gear based. And I thought it worked pretty well. But for whatever reason they changed it.
Do you think you're good enough?
Let's see, is there anything I need to do out here? I'm very close to level 4, so I might as well just buy some level 4 stuff. So we'll buy that.
See how it feels.
We'll buy a shotgun, what the hell. In fact, I'm going to go back to Cade and buy some armor. Of course, they had a little slide move there. When you're running, you hit the duck button, you'll do a slide. Call of Duty Ghosts did that too at the same time.
No time for standing around.
See, level 4 helmet. If I hold one of the trigger, yeah, if I hold right trigger, it'll do a comparison to what you're wearing now.
State of the art.
There we go.
Get on out there. Do something meaningful with your life. I'll be right here.
Go to our progress. If you go to your inventory, it shows all the things you have for various stuff. All the little options and things like that. Nothing fancy. It's all pretty simple. Oops. I have to hit that button. Go back to orbit. Do the next mode in the story. A couple different story options here. We'll go to the level 3 story mode, the Dark Within. Yeah, that's one thing the game definitely did good when I'm going back and watching the 360 footage is it was definitely a good transition going back and forth playing the Xbox One version and 360 version back and forth at the time when they were still linked. Like, I'll talk about this in my Halo Master Chief Collection video, but because of that game, I had returned my Xbox One at the time. I basically abandoned the system, just thought it was a piece of crap, and I stuck with the 360. And
well, I'm ready if you are.
you know, because I was perfectly happy with getting my Halo experience with Halo 4 and Destiny on the 360. So unfortunately, there's a couple people that I met online that we were playing with I couldn't play anymore, but overall it wasn't that big of a loss. So there's something down here. I'm going to stay out of there. I think there's some high-level dudes in there. So now we're level 4. What do we got upgrade? Oh, now we got our golden gun upgraded. Yeah. So now you look on the bottom corner there, you'll see like my little grenade icon. And my weapon and ammo numbers, things like that. You'll see a little bar that slowly goes up, and it'll keep increasing as I kill more enemies. And once that's maxed out, I can use the player class's ability. So let's switch to my level 4 gear that I acquired real quick. Like, here's some green gear, some uncommon gear. Adds +4 to my discipline stat. You got your intellect, your discipline, and your strength, which, adds stat boost to your attacks. So when you're playing in the Crucible, like Slayer, Team Slayer, whatnot, the defense number doesn't do anything, but your stats and maybe whatever special abilities that are added by your armor will help you in that. So we'll equip the shotgun. Equip our scout rifle. Ooh, what did I just get? Schematic for making a new gun. Nice, it's a random item. So do I get the speeder yet? No, I'm not able to summon the vehicle. Okay, I think it's the next mission. You actually get like a Star Wars type speeder in this game. It's kind of cool.
You know, this place must have been amazing before the collapse.
Oh, someone text messaging me.
Thousands of humans boarding the colony ships, off to build cities beyond.
Alright, so I got the double jump ability unlocked earlier, so if I jump twice, some characters get a triple jump, some characters get like a teleport jump, some characters get like a jump and then like a floating jump. And that's another thing when you compare it to Halo 4 and Halo Reach, a lot of those armor abilities, like I mentioned in previous videos, how it kind of felt like they shoehorned those abilities into the game. Like they feel like they didn't really fit. It's like, well, we need to add something new to Halo because it's a sequel. So what can we add to Halo to kind of make it feel fresh and feel new? But it feels like they just added it just to add something. Where in this game, because it's a new setting and your characters are basically sci-fi shooting characters with these magical type abilities, it feels more natural to have these abilities for your character. Like double jumping and floating and that kind of stuff. So it felt kind of like it felt like something out of place in Halo 4 and Halo Reach, but it feels like it belongs in Destiny. So that's kind of cool. So of course we use a scout rifle, so it's just a single shot semi-auto rifle. Something else that was on my mind I want to talk about, and I forgot what it was. It'll come back to me.
We're in. This was one of Skywatch's.
But in terms of this game being an official successor to Halo, there's actually a Halo Easter egg in this game too. When you're on Mars and you look at one of the buildings, if you look at it under a certain angle, it'll actually resemble the Master Chief helmet. It's kind of cool. I think it's Mars.
Fallen sealed this gate. I can get.
Wait, did I just go in a circle? Oh, that's right. Also, another thing, this game has a lot of deploy your ghost somewhere. Your ghost does something, you guard the ghost, and enemies come after you. I mean, it does a lot of that, and that was like a huge criticism for the game's campaign. I don't think it would be too big of a problem if the story was better. Like if it uncovered parts of the story and actually kept you interested. But the core gameplay is still good, so I actually give that a pass. Yeah, this is where I start seeing the hive. Yeah, here we are. This is basically the game's flood. And after playing this as much as I do, or as much as I did, I still don't understand the backstory of these guys. Apparently it was in like some app or something. I forgot what it was. There was some way that you're supposed to read the backstory, but it wasn't like contained in the game. It's like my criticism that I mentioned earlier of later Halo, like Halo 5, which I'll get to. The story should be self-contained in a game, and if you want to read about the story in like phone apps, comics, movies, things like that, that should enhance the story in a video game, not the game's story should not depend on that. So this will give me a chance to show off the my special ability, since my meter is yellow. Hit both the triggers. So the hunter, I remember what I want to talk about now. I'll get to that in a sec here. The hunter basically gets a golden gun, so you can fire three very powerful shots. The other subclass, which is the blade dancer, he basically can do like a melee attack thing. Basically just goes around hacking everything away like Darth Maul. And then the other classes, they shoot like a big bomb blob kind of thing. And I think the Titan class does like some defensive stuff. But like what I want to talk about earlier was the main differences in the classes in the game is they're pretty much identical. It's just some of this stuff is different. You know, like different types of grenades. You know, a little bit different jumping, different special abilities. But in a nutshell, that's it. The game is going to feel identical. And I thought they dropped the ball a little bit with that, which I don't think Overwatch was out at the time. But I thought they could have did something like that where... trying to not die and talk at the same time. But I thought they could have made one class like a little more healer-based. And that would have helped differentiate between the classes a little bit. Because I think the Titan's a little more defensive, you know, does like a shield kind of thing. But another thing they could have did was, you know, since this game kind of has kind of a Call of Duty feel to it, but not too much. You know, you're still aiming down the sights and things like that. I mean, it still feels more like Halo. They could have made one class of character where it has more of a Call of Duty feel, where you're not jumping as high, but you're moving around faster. Maybe it grabs a hold of a ledge. You have to rely on aiming a little bit more. Where another class of character could have felt a little more like Halo, where you're jumping a little higher, but a little slower movement. Your sprinting's not as high, but you can shoot from the hip a little bit better. You know, things like that. I thought they could have did little things to differentiate between the classes. And I thought that would have helped a little bit. And when the game came out and when people could have posted in the message forums, oh, well, what kind of class should I play? It's like, well, if you like Halo, play this class. If you like Call of Duty more, play that class. Let's see. All right, where was that guy with the shields? Where was he at? I just saw him. There he is. Get over here, you flying piece of crap.
The Hive haven't been on Earth in centuries. The darkness could be a lot closer than we think.
There we go. Mission over. Go on to the next one. So after you complete the mission, you got 30 seconds to kind of go around and gather whatever loot. Another thing I want to talk about with the loot, like when I grabbed that green engram and it gave me this leg armor, when the game first came out, because you got your uncommon, which is your green, and then you got your I forgot what they're called. Basically like your rare and your very rare and whatnot. It's basically your green is your uncommon, your blue is more rare, purple is even more rare, and then eventually you have like the orange, which is like your artifact, like your unique ones, I think. Orange or yellow. But when the game came out, if you were to pick up like a purple engram to decode a purple weapon, about every other time it would give you a green one or a blue one. It wouldn't drop a purple one. And the reason behind that, Bungie said was, well, they wanted it to be when you actually get a purple item, they wanted it to be more fulfilling and feel like you earned it more. Which eventually they patched the game to where instead of making it harder for the engram to reveal a purple item, they eventually just made the purple engrams more of a rare drop to balance that out. So you're getting them around the same rate, but people didn't feel screwed over. Which, whatever dumbass that worked at Bungie that thought that's how it should have been is a complete moron. And I hope he got slapped in the face. I mean, how stupid can he be? It's like, oh, hey, I'm playing World of Warcraft. Hey, I picked up a legendary item. All right. and then all of a sudden you equip it and it turns into a green item.
Let's go.
Seriously, who actually thought that was a good idea? But yeah, they patched it. I don't know if you guys remember the loot cave in this. There's a part in this map right here. I think it's a little further way over that way, where like this cave right here, when guys would pop out, you would get a certain distance away to where enemies would keep respawning, and all these people would just sit there and just keep shooting people over and over and over again as they would just respawn, and then eventually all these items would drop, and that's how people would gear up. And they actually had to patch that, and they were disappointed that people would keep doing that, but people felt screwed over because of all the items, all the purple and blue items that they would pick up and open, and turned out to be crap. So hopefully they learned their lesson. And it seems like everything lately that Activision's been touching has just been turning to crap. I got another event if we want, but we're going to keep going. Do I have the speeder here? No, I don't have the speeder. So I had it in the 360 version. So you can see like the little Star Wars type speeder. I think I get it up here more.
Here's the Sparrow link.
There, deploy our Ghost. Ghost goes in, inspects the item. Kind of sit here and guard them. Sometimes enemies will pop up. And that's pretty much every mission. It is what it is. There we go. Oh yeah, we did get our speeder now. Sweet.
Sparrow, we can be in the Forgotten Shore in seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, the art style, the graphics, the detail, the textures, I mean, everything. Even on the last-gen hardware, I mean, looks really good. And I talked about this, I joke about this with a lot of the games, like, oh, I wish they'd make a Switch version because how much I love the Nintendo Switch. But this series here, even though I'm crapping on a lot of it, and I felt it was a $30 game, well, I mean, it was a $60 game when it came out, but I thought the content warranted the price being like more of a $30 or $40 game. But for what the game is, I think this game would make, or even Destiny 2, I think would make a really good Switch game. Especially since there's not a lot of FPS games on Switch. And maybe now that Diablo 3 is really, really successful on Switch, you know, maybe they will. Which, you know, Bungie's reason was, oh, you can't... Oh, hey, that dude's helping me out. How you doing? Can I wave? Yeah. Hi. How you doing? Waving. Can help each other out. Here's a white engram. But, let's see. Oh, yeah, Destiny on Switch. I mean, not a lot of first-person shooters on the Switch. And this is a game that would fill both a Call of Duty and a Halo type game on the Switch. I mean, it would work out really good, in my opinion. And when Destiny 2 was coming out, Bungie said they didn't see it as something possible because they didn't think the Switch could maintain that constant online connection that Destiny would need. And I got two counter arguments for that. One, Fortnite. Fortnite's amazing on Switch. I mean, I'm not like a huge Fortnite fan, but a lot of people are. It's the #1 game in the world right now for a reason. And it plays great on the Switch. But the other reason is, I think a good opportunity for the first Destiny to be re-released would be on the Switch. And you could make a lot of these like story missions and stuff like that. They wouldn't need to be online based. They could be like, you know, just like local multiplayer or land based, stuff like that. And all the raids and instances and PvP, they could have that be online based. So I think that'd be a really good way to do it. Like not really an MMO, but like a hybrid online offline game. Hopefully I'm explaining it really good. Trying to think of a comparison. Like it basically turn your main story and exploration into like an offline exploration game, you know, like your standard Skyrim and stuff, but make it so it supports online co-op. But all the key online components like raids and the Crucible and whatnot, make that online based. And they could re-release Destiny on the Switch for $60 and put in all the DLC. Like I just talked about, it's $25 on the Xbox One, but you could sell it for $60 on the Switch because it's a new system. It's got all the DLC. It's an offline game, so you can play with local multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. And it's portable. I mean, it's a portable version of Destiny. I mean, yeah, of course you can play it on a laptop, but we're talking about like a handheld, not laptop gaming, not on your lap gaming. So I think it'd be a good idea. So I don't know if other people would feel the same when presented, but I think it'd be pretty cool. Has me wondering where they're going to be going with Halo Infinity. If Halo Infinity is going to be like anything like Destiny at all. Because I remember when Halo 5 was coming out, people were kind of curious if Halo 5 was going to be like Destiny, if it was going to do its own thing. There was that Xbox One press conference the other day. I guess some people are a little disappointed with it, but they announced like PUBG being on Game Pass, for example, some new Game Pass, some new acquisitions. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm curious if they talked about Halo at all. I'll probably watch it later. Oh, come back here. There we go. Thought I saw a weapon drop here. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hi, how you doing? This would be a cool game for proximity voice chat. I don't remember if it does or not. I don't think it does. Uh-oh, uh-oh. See my health in the top corner there. I mean, the game, I didn't talk about this too much, but, I mean, I talked about the gameplay, but, like, when your health gets low, you got your duck and cover mechanic, you know, like your standard Halo, and your health refills. So, you know, the game has a Halo vibe to it in that aspect. Oh, hey, what's up, guy? Picked up a new ghost. Or whatever that was. Honestly, I forgot what that thing is. It's a cool shadow. Love the lighting in this game. Really cool lighting. I mean, you look at the engine. I mean, the textures and all that kind of stuff. The engine that the game runs on, it basically runs on multiple different kinds of hardware. I mean, you have your Xbox 360, your PlayStation 3, both PowerPC based architecture, but there were still some differences between the 360's CPU and the cell chip in PlayStation 3. And then, of course, you have the consoles going back to an x86 based CPU, or the first time going x86 based in terms of the PlayStation 4, which is more common than what you would see in your PCs. So two completely different kinds of architecture, but all the features and the lighting and the textures and everything across all the consoles. I mean, they did a really good job with this engine. Even though it's only 30 frames per second on the newer stuff, it's still really good. Oh, we get one more shot off. Nope. Okay, deploy our ghost. He's going to do some stuff. We're going to guard him. Standard stuff here.
The Fallen are trying to access these machines, but something is fighting back. This will take some time.
We'll finish this mission real quick, and then we'll do some of the... show off some of the other features in the game. Yeah, despite the standard have your ghost do something and guard the ghost, the gameplay is still pretty solid where it doesn't feel too repetitive. Even though the gameplay is repetitive, it doesn't feel as repetitive as it actually is. So Bungie still knows how to make good gameplay, and that's good. Ooh, nice. There's a guy with the shields. Is that him? Let's make him level up real quick while I'm ducking and covering. Oh, throwing knife. Sweet. Cool thing about the hunter is you got the throwing knife ability, so it's kind of like the tomahawk or throwing knife from Call of Duty games. It's not a one-hit kill, but it does do more damage. So it can be a one-hit kill depending on how good your aim is. Of course, you see in the bottom corner, you'll see the grenade and the throwing knife on cooldown. And if you're playing the Blade Dancer, instead of a throwing knife, it's basically your melee attack, that right there, basically has some extra damage to it. And that'll be on cooldown as well. Big floating eyeball things. Yeah, I mean, if you've never played Destiny before and you like these types of games, you got a couple of friends, go down to GameStop or your local game store and just buy 3 really cheap used discs, pop it in, and play the core content and see if you like the game. And it's a cheap game to get into. When we talked about the core game not having a lot of content in it to justify the $60 price. You know, talked about the story being lackluster, which, you know, made the game feel like it was missing a lot. But I mean, a lot of that was because you know that they were going to stretch it out for the DLC, which the game doesn't require a monthly subscription, you know, like World of Warcraft does or anything like that. So it's understandable that, you know, they have to rely on DLC and things like that to make the money back. Unfortunately, the content for what you pay for is still not what you're getting. Like, you know, if you're paying a monthly subscription for World of Warcraft or like a 6-month subscription or whatnot, the amount of content in the game that you have access to helps justify that price. Where Destiny, that's more DLCs, but it's like a smaller amount of content, but for the same price. But when you look at the overall price compared to the two games, even though one's an FPS, one isn't, but you know, let's put that aside for now. You're still not getting the amount of content, and I think the not Taken King, but the expansion before that did a better job of it. But it's not a lot of content to justify the price, and I think that's what turned a lot of people off. And I think that's the main problem that Destiny 2 is having right now. I know a lot of people kind of hate the game of what it's become, and I'm not. And I haven't played a lot of Destiny 2. I played the campaign, played a couple multiplayer games, and that's about it. Like I said, my Destiny 2 video is going to be pretty short. But that's probably the biggest problem with Destiny right now is you have to keep pumping money into it, and there's not a lot of content for what you're paying. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing. So if they were to sell the content in one big bundle, it would probably feel a lot better. So, like I said, a Switch version, which, you know, Switch doesn't have two different versions of Destiny, so you don't have to worry about splitting the multiplayer or splitting the community or anything like that. So we're going to play now some matchmaking stuff. So I'm going to switch on to my main character real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're going to do a little bit of matchmaking here. And we're going to do what is called a strike, or in this case a level 20 strike. And that is basically the equivalent of running an instance. So, set to easy, shouldn't be too bad. And I was able to find a couple of these on the 360 version yesterday. And it took a while to find one on that. So we'll see how long it takes on here. I was actually surprised that some people were still playing that online that I can match up with. Oh yeah, I found one right away. So here's my main character. Here's most of my gear. Of course, a lot of my gear and my items and whatnot, it's going to be different in the 360 version because, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of that got branched off, you know, once they did that server split multiplayer thing. Or not multiplayer, the server split thing where your character saves don't transfer back and forth. While it's loading, I'm going to stick to the gunslinger here. Make sure my controls are set the same. Oh, it's loading. Go back to this real quick. Here's all the various stuff I got. Swarm grenade, like little homing grenades. There's a proximity grenade you can have. Got a triple jump. All the various things. So, scout rifle, Gallahorn rocket launcher, sidearm pistol. So, while this guy's doing that, all the customization of your weapon, you can customize your scopes to kind of change like your range and stability and things like that. Different abilities like switching weapons back and forth faster, better range, better optics, more grenades or more damage. Just various special abilities, things like that. So Each weapon's kind of unique, and I think some of the special abilities on some weapons can be different. So you got these brute type enemies. I forget what they're called off the top of my head. I don't feel like an idiot when I remember. I feel like an idiot not remembering what they're called. It's been a while since I played this. So match this with a couple random people here. And these strikes are actually pretty well designed. The layouts, like the layouts of the stages are well done. The spawning of the enemies are well done. It definitely keeps you on your toes. So I mean, it's like I said earlier. I mean, Bungie with even though the gameplay sucks, even though it doesn't have too much features as far as like an MMO or enough MMO features to compete with other MMOs or enough FPS features to compete with FPS. I mean, they still nailed the gameplay. The gameplay is still just a lot of fun. So I think that's why a lot of people stuck with the game like they did. So like IGN, when the game came out, they rated it like a 7 out of 10. So I mean, the game was disappointing, but still fun to play when it came out. And the RPG elements that the game does have, these little spears are cool. It basically fills up my light meter for my special ability. But that's so cool looking. But the MMO elements that it does have in terms of like the weapon customization and your class customization, like all this stuff, I mean, they nailed that. I mean, that's really awesome. It's really fulfilling to just mess with all that kind of stuff and customize your character. It actually does it better than Destiny 2, which I'll get into. Oh, where's that other guy at? Oh man, I don't want to waste my shots. Oh no! Ah, I did that at the wrong time. That was a bummer. I only got one shot off. That's okay. Oh, I missed my throwing knife. Dang it. So the grenades basically spawns like a bunch of little homing grenades. So a lot of cool customization. There's grenades that are, you know, like basic AoEs, and ones that spawn little homing grenades, ones that are proximity based but also function as a sticky grenade. I got a triple jump here, but if I switch to the Blade Dancer subclass, I can do a more of a like a directional jump or a teleport jump. I love the teleport jump. That's actually a lot of fun. I love that in multiplayer. Got our sidearm here. You get different like your weapon damage. How it shows like a little bluish arc icon there, like a little throwing star icon. Yeah, that means it does arc damage. And you look a little fiery, that means it does solar damage. And of course that one's void damage, how the font's purple. So like the enemies that have different shields around them, like the color of the shield is what they're vulnerable to. So that's kind of cool. I should go help this guy out. Ooh, there's some heavy ammo right there. Let's pick up the heavy ammo. And that's going to drop, and that's going to refill your ammo regardless of what heavy gun you're using. So in this case, I'm using the Galahorn. So because it's yellow, it's an exotic weapon. So because it's exotic, I can only have one exotic weapon. So I cannot equip these two things here. In order to equip one of these two weapons, I have to switch that out with something else. So you hit Y to switch to it, but instead you hold Y. And we're just going to refill it real quick. And where'd my guys go? They leave me? Or this open? Yeah. There they are. You can look and kind of see the environment outside the window on Mars. The art design in this game is really good. And each world just kind of has its own little color scheme and pattern and whatnot. Like Venus is more colorful, like an Avatar kind of look to it, and Mars is more deserty, of course, and Earth is Earth. So that guy's purple, so be better to have a... oh, I just completed a bounty. Be better to have a void damage weapon, which, let's see if I have a good sub-weapon that'll do that. Sniper rifle. Sniper's only one. Of course, I switched, the ammo's going to decrease a little bit. Okay, I get some more sniper ammo. And your special abilities will also do that kind of damage too. Like my gunslinger ability, it does solar damage. My blade dancer abilities do arc damage. I'm actually not familiar with this strike, so I don't really know much of the content on it. I know a lot of the earlier stuff. Hopefully it has a good boss battle at the end. I'm sure it does. But yeah, I was actually surprised to find some other people looking for strikes in the 360 version yesterday, but it was on a Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, it's hard to find a Crucible match on it now. Oh, did I waste that again? I thought there were more people coming up. Yep. Oh well, it's okay. Ah, see, I should have saved it for him. Let's stick with my teammates here. The Legion, that's what those guys are called. I call them brute guys, they're called the Legion. Gallahorn. Come on, peek your head out. Yeah, it does a good job pacing out the enemies' placements and locations here. You gotta be careful because every once in a while someone can spawn right behind you. So it'll keep you moving. You can't just... Sometimes you can stay up at a certain spot and shoot down on them. I miss some spawn points, but it kind of depends. Kind of give him a little crossfire thing here since I got shields.
Nice work. I'll let the Vanguard know the flayers are dead.
Nice, that was the end of it.
If those Scion flayers were tangling with Rasputin, they are way more powerful than we realize. We better keep an eye on where the Cabal deployed those things. Who knows what their minds can do?
I got more powerful green stuff, but kind of hard to drop it. See, 160. I can get rid of that one. Get some random loot here. And let's do one more real quick before we go into some multiplayer. Let's see. See, I'm level 34. I haven't really gone through this character in forever and thinned out my items. That's okay, I don't really play a game enough anymore anyway. Oh, here we go. House of Wolves, that was the last expansion I bought. Let's see if I can pull this off. Yeah, I mean, there's slight differences in the RPG mechanics of the 360 version, Xbox One version, ever since the server split. Basically, it's anything that, any kind of upgrades that they added to, like playlists, patches, things like that, after the split, it's not going to exist in the 360 version. So. But if you're the kind of person that skipped this current generation and you just went with a Wii U at the time or stuck with PC gaming, it's a good way to catch up on the Destiny content if you're playing Destiny 2 on the PC. Because Destiny 2 has a PC version, which is pretty cool. Which we'll get into that. After I use up my special, I want to try switching to Blade Dancer just to kind of show that off a little bit. So these guys are a little higher level, so they're going to take more shots to take out. So it's not going to be as easy.
Incursion. Ready yourself. Important target, Guardian. Kill or be killed.
Pick up Scorch Cannon. Ah. Hell yeah, I'll pick that up. One more shot.
have done it.
There we go. Ooh. Trying to do it without killing myself. Alright, go to that. Check all my abilities. Switch helmets. Oops, someone revived me. Sweet. So I got a teleport jump here. Pretty easy to use. It basically teleports you in the direction that you're moving as you hit the jump button again. Instead of a throwing knife, it's just an extra damage to your melee.
They are dead. You are not.
Uh-oh, we lose a teammate? Or was he not there in the first place?
Need you back in
It's okay, we'll
airlock,
two-man it.
Guardian.
Ah, so I think this is the same same one I'm playing on the 360. The same strike.
Round 3. Bone walkers of the hive await.
So instead of having a grenade, it shoots little homing grenades. Throw a grenade does kind of like a little lightning AoE. It's kind of cool. So there's definitely some cool differences between the subclasses, which, you know, it's not like a huge major difference, but it's enough of a difference to differentiate between the two. So they did good with the different subclasses. And they added a third subclass as well. So that's kind of cool. Oh, there we go. Not gonna screw around with that guy. So I got my special powered up. So I'm gonna wait till I get like a horde of enemies. Make sure I got the right special abilities equipped.
More enemies, Guardian. Minds must be dismantled.
Hitting a guy from behind causes significantly more damage. Crouch gain invisible. Killing enemies. Uh-oh. Killing enemies with the arc ability will refill health. Let's use it now. Turn into a Jedi Sith Lord. On a wrecking spree. Seemed like there was... Oh, crap. Seemed like there was one where if I hit him with it, it would refill the ability. Killing an enemy increases its duration. Okay, that's what it is. So because we're inside the strike, gotta wait for someone to revive me, or I gotta wait the 30 seconds to respawn.
Successor.
So I find the gunslinger more useful in the strikes and raid overall. Just because they're kind of more ranged focused, so you can kind of sit back and focus on your ranged stuff. But you gotta be careful that stuff doesn't spawn up behind you. Go back to this real quick. I want to check something out.
Minds must be dismantled.
See what I have it set on. Reduces the cooldown of Blink Strike. Oops. So I can either make it so if I melee attack someone, I gain invisibility, or I forgot what the other ability was. I just read it too. Oh crap. Oh, that's right, the rear damage, that's what it was. I don't have any heavy ammo, dang. So the game's pretty customizable in terms of the RPG abilities that it has. My guy's still alive? Oh yeah, he's still alive. He's just way over there. He's playing smart. He's playing away from everyone. I'm a sucker just going balls in. Ooh, heavy ammo. Yes, please. Nope, not gonna screw with you. Rockets. Dang, I should have used my special. Here's a bunch of stuff to refill it.
You live. Well
That's okay.
done.
Usually when someone leaves, matchmaking will backfill it.
Yes.
Must not be a lot of people playing right now. It's the middle of a Monday afternoon though. People are in school and work and whatnot. Not me, it's my day off. It's my Sunday. So I hit LB, react. Send him invites, inspect him, check out all his gear. So it does a good job of all the MMO features that it has, keeping that stuff simplified. So that's good. I think this is the final room. Alright, here we go. This could be an overpowered ability in the PvP. I want to switch that up real quick if I can do it without dying. There we go. Extend its ability. Oh. There we go. Ooh, more heavy ammo. I'm already maxed out. am not in a good spot. I think I keep hitting those trip mines. Trying to get a good shot on him. There we go. That was a good rocket.
Reinforcements ready for combat. Mines must be dismantled or dead.
Oh, there's all my rockets. Oh, I unlocked an upgrade for it. Can I switch to that and upgrade it real quick? A little more damage, sure. Oh, this dude's right here. Oh, dang it. Wasn't paying attention.
Successor.
Ah, thank you for the revive.
Success. Be ready. More enemies on the way. Dismantle mines, yes. Or die.
Alright, here we go. Take a little more damage, so they take some more hits. That worked out pretty good. I think I like the health boost better. Crap, he's surrounded too. So I can get to him. Sweet, got him.
Disappoint.
Oh, and I died in the process. Oh, we both died in the process. Let's try this again.
War machine is on the march.
See, who's messaging me?
Yes. Fight and win.
Are you playing PUBG later? Ooh, that was a good grenade. Keep an eye on my radar. People coming from behind. Oh, crap. on, stay alive. There we go. You know, this sniper rifle is kind of worthless right now. Do I get anything? Ugh, that's it? That sucks. Hoping I had something with some solar damage. Like a sniper rifle with some solar damage or something, or a fusion rifle or something. Too many guys with solar. You know what? I'm gonna switch back to gunslinger. There we go, that'll help balance that out. Probably help if we had a third person.
Minds must be dismantled or dead.
There we go, now I got my grenade to do solar, and I got my throwing knife that does solar. So that should hopefully help. Because a lot of these guys have solar shields. Ooh. I'll take that. Oh, it's not enough to fill it.
Successor.
Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't... Oh, crap. Come on, health. Refill. Refill health. There we go. Let's see, can I stay up here? Alright, wave 1 of 3 complete. Another guy not within line of sight. There we go. Weapon is charged. Or special weapon, or special abilities charged.
Guardian, thirst for your light. Dismantle.
Waves 2 of 3 complete. Alright, here we go. It's for all the marbles. Oh, don't fly away. There we go. Crap. 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 Alright. Using all my good shit.
You failed, Guardian.
Ah! That's alright. Yeah, we're gonna do some multiplayer now. So let's show that off a little bit. Kinda need a third person for that. Okay, now we're just going to do some standard multiplayer, some standard matchmaking. In this, they call it the Crucible. Of course, we don't have access to a lot of it because I don't have the latest expansion. So the only one I really got access to is Mayhem Rumble, competitive multiplayer. See how it says level advantages disabled? That means the fact that I'm level 34, it's not going to give me a huge advantage. My only advantage is going to be my gear. Not the attack number or the defense number, but just the stats themselves, like the rate of fire, the impact, range, all that kind of stuff. So, oops. So let's hit launch. Let's do a search for a game. Now, I was able to play a little bit of this on the 360 yesterday, which of course the options are a little bit different, but they got a little more split up, unfortunately, but it's still not too bad. I mean, there's a couple people playing, so I was able to find at least a few games. So let's see if I can find anyone on the Xbox One version on a Monday afternoon. If we can't find any, then I guess won't be... Oh, there we go. 6 out of 6 Guardians found, so hopefully it should pop us in a game right away. And the last video I did of Halo 4, when I talked about matchmaking, backfilling the matches when people leave, like, none of the Halos up until Halo 4 actually did that. Like, if it was a 4-on-4 game in Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, and somebody quit, you had to wait until the end of the match in order for matchmaking to find a new person for the next game. And 343, when they made Halo 4, finally fixed that, even though Call of Duty made it a standard by that time. So fortunately, Bungie learned from that, and they actually incorporated that into Destiny. So if you're playing like a 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, however many people it is, and if somebody quits, it'll join you, or it'll throw someone else in the middle of that game to take that place.
Mayhem Rumble.
So it looks like a 6-on-6, I think. Or is it free for all? No, it's 6 on.
With no limits.
No, okay, this is free for all. Okay. So all the weapons that we have with us, you know, we've gathered on our journeys, take with us. I'm going to switch to this machine gun here, so I can switch to this rifle. This rifle here, basically, it's an auto rifle, but when you zoom in, the rate of fire is smaller, almost like a scout rifle. So originally when the game came out, before it was patched, and even the 360 version still reflects this, is you have your main ammo, and then you have, of course, your special ammo for your snipers and whatnot. But they made it harder for the special ammo to pop up. Like, you used to be able to get a lot more special ammo for snipers or shotguns or whatnot. But in modern versions, not so much. So I actually like how they had it before. I actually like that better. In Destiny 2, they actually made sniping more of a power weapon, which I'm not a fan of, but that's okay. It is what it is. Anyone else coming? Come on. Alright, we got the heavy ammo. We got a heavy machine gun. Ooh. Someone got me from the side. They'll probably get my leftover ammo if I had enough of it. Like people that had the special ammo for like the sniper or the shotgun, they would actually drop some of the leftover ammo when they died. So I actually kept a pretty steady supply. But at least now people can't spam that fusion gun like they used to. That's the one thing I hate about the fusion gun. It's that charged weapon. Which they actually nerfed the shotguns in one of the earlier patches. Which I thought was a stupid idea. I didn't think they needed to be nerfed, but for whatever reason Bungie nerfed it. But once they did that, everyone switched to fusion guns. Which are just annoying. Nice. So if I remember correctly, this Mayhem game type, heavy ammo and your special abilities pop up more frequently. In fact, I want to switch my sniper, because I think I keep an older sniper specifically for this game type. Yeah, it must be this one here. Yeah, even though the rate of fire is small, and even though it's a blue, it's only rare, it's not a legendary. The impact is much higher, so it does more damage per shot. And the stability is pretty good. The range is small, which is fine, because I'm going more just for like a quick snipe. Aiming this weapon is incredibly fast. I need to get this upgraded. Dealing a portion of the damage in an area, that's kind of cool. Oh, dang it. I missed the shot.
Heavy ammo on the way. Heavy ammo available.
Oh, come on, zoomed too much almost. Ah, I was zoomed in too much. Kind of a cool little 0G effect right there. I love little stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Oh, come on. Oh, there. Oh, we got each other. He's using a pistol. It's like the pistols in this, the ones that go in your primary hand, you know, they're called hand cannons. They're like revolvers. They're like good, single, powerful shotguns. And of course, the little smaller, more higher rate of fire ones. That's a sidearm. That goes into your special weapon slot. So you switch to it quickly.
Heavy ammo inbound. You've got 30 seconds.
Ooh, can I get those guys from here? Come on. Expose yourselves, guys. Aw, dang it. I screwed that up.
You've got 10 seconds.
Heavy machine gun. Low rate of fire, but high damage per bullet, and it's really, really stable, so it doesn't shoot like all over the place. Yeah, not a bad game. Especially for not playing for a while. And again, it's, you know, if you can find the game for like $3. Oh, what did I get here? Oh, an armor shade. That's kind of cool. This guy got a strange coin. That's good currency. Ooh, nice weapon there. But like on clear, I've seen this disc on like clearance. I mean, I saw a bunch of these on PGRE, Portland, or PRGE, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Mainly like PS3 360 versions, like little boxes of crap. People trying to get rid of the disc for like $2 or $3. I mean, it's a cheap game because, you know, when you buy the disc, any DLC that came with that version of the game has been used up because it's, you know, it's a code. So it's basically just the core game, and you got to buy all the DLC. So if you buy the core game to get, it's, think of it like a demo or like a gameplay beta. Like you're just playing the core game, which honestly, now that I think about it, the core game of Destiny, they should honestly just make it a free download at this point and just like a free to play game. In order to unlock more features, they should make it, you know, so you got to buy the DLC. That'd probably be a good way to go now that I think about it. Maybe they've done that with Destiny too. I'd have to look into it. Probably not. It's Activision. I mean, look what they're doing with... they can't even market the game correctly. Look at Diablo, that Diablo mobile game, which I might touch up on. I want to pick up a copy of Diablo 3 on the Switch and play that and talk about the Diablo Immortal mobile game a little bit with that. But I'll do that later when I get some time. I'm enjoying making this series. Come on, just need one more player. Yeah, I was playing this on the 360 yesterday. The first matchmaking game I was able to find. I was just sucking, getting my butt kicked. I think that was that game. It was a free-for-all game, if I remember correctly. Cosmodrome Wall. Old Russia.
Destroy them with your light.
So it's another Mayhem game. So yeah, I think this is that same game type that just pops up heavy ammo. And see, I'm looking at my my special meter. It's filling up really fast. In fact, I think I'm going to switch to a Blade Dancer. Yeah, of course I die when I'm switching. Oh, crap. That's okay. Let's see, some special ammo. Yeah, when the Destiny 2 beta had dropped, I played that on the Xbox One.
Heavy ammo on the way.
After I got done playing it a little bit, I went back to playing this version, and I actually liked the RPG elements in terms of like the weapon customization and stuff better in the first one than in the second
Heavy
one.
ammo available.
Which I'll get into when I get to the Destiny 2 video. Let's see, where are all you guys at? Oh, here we go. I'm invisible, you can't see me. This is my John Cena impression.
5 minutes remaining.
Oh, get back here, get back here. Yeah. Can I, oh yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you for the heavy ammo. Oh, I forgot I picked up heavy ammo earlier. Damn it. I picked that up. I forgot to switch to my other weapon. Nope. Screw you. I'll just come up and hack at you.
Ammo available.
Oh, someone gave me some heavy ammo. Thank you.
Gains the lead.
Oh, someone's doing oh, good. Someone's doing damage to me. I thought it was going to kill me, but I lived, so that's good. Can I make that jump? Oh yeah, I can make that. Come on, where'd all you go? There you are. Ooh. Got me with his special.
You're in the lead. You're falling behind. Heavy ammo on the way. Heavy ammo available.
Yeah, I actually keep... Where's it at?
1 minute.
One of these guns. This one right here. I'm going to switch to that. This rocket right here. Rockets from this weapon will detonate early based on proximity to targets. So I keep this rocket launcher in my inventory for this very reason when playing in the Crucible. So if I shoot a guy with the rockets and the rocket's going to miss him, it'll explode as it gets near him and still hit him. Very, very evil rocket launcher.
Heavy ammo inbound. 10 seconds remaining. available. Embrace the chaos of battle. You'll never know victory.
Yeah, not too bad of a game. Still a lot of fun to play. Unfortunately, there's no like big team battle mode. You know, let me go back and look at that playlist real quick. See if there's like a big team battle mode. So I remember playing the game when it came out. There was a couple larger maps where you can still get on like your speeders and whatnot. I mean, there's nothing that had like, you know, like your tank equivalents or warthogs or anything like that. I mean, there's no warthogs, but you know, like the Destiny equivalent of a warthog. And Destiny does have tanks in the game. I mean, Destiny 2 actually has a tank mode in the campaign. But let's see. Free for all, 3v3. See, 3v3 objective, 3v3 deathmatch, 6v6. So it's not a big team battle, but more of a medium team battle. So that's one thing it's missing. But, I mean, if you can find a copy of the disc for really cheap. In fact, I'm going to look it up on eBay just out of curiosity. Pull this up. eBay.com. Destiny, Xbox One. Type in disc so I don't get a bunch of crap. Brand new, no, we don't want sealed. Yeah, Destiny disc only $1.59. You know, for $1.59, it's not a bad experience. You know, you get, it's not a lot of story, but you're getting $1.59 worth of story. So if you got friends that play the game and you want to play with them, just want to do like just some simple multiplayer, $1.59, not too bad really. Yeah, that's Destiny. So spiritual successor to Halo. Not enough FPS, not enough content to make it a full FPS game, but you know, now you pick up use for $1.59, not too bad. Not enough of an MMO to make it an MMO competitor, but again, used copy of the game for $1.59, no monthly subscription, worth picking up just to see if you like the game. Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment below. Do you still play the game? Did you give Destiny 2 a chance? We'll eventually get to that. Got 3 more videos to make after this. We're going to do Halo Master Chief Collection, then Halo 5, and then Destiny 2, and that will be it on that. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. You're the man. And I'll see you guys next time.